Well, good evening, everybody. It's Bobby Harvey with another edition of live train watching from Ottumwa, Iowa. It is a overcast and slight chance of rain this evening. It's been very warm here in southeast Iowa. Right now, we are on the road getting ready to head down towards the railroad tracks. Amtrak's California Zephyr will be approaching here shortly. We might just go ahead and head on down to the station. We might run down by McLean Street first just to see if there's anything else going on, anything else that might be on the way. I did look at some of the rail cams before I came out, and there really wasn't a whole lot going on. I looked at the Ottumwa cam, and an eastbound train went through about 20 minutes ago. But like I've said before, you can only get a warning for westbound trains because there's a rail cam in Mount Pleasant. There is not one west of Ottumwa yet. Be nice if there was one west of Ottumwa, because then you'd have a warning for eastbound and westbound trains. Right now you only have about an hour warning for westbound trains. And you don't have any warning at all for eastbound trains. So there might be some eastbound trains lined up that we don't know about. The only way to know is to get down to the tracks and see what's around. But I pulled back the Mount Pleasant rail cam for about 2 hours, and there have been no westbounds for the past 2 hours in Mount Pleasant. Of course, that may have changed since I left the house. We don't know. I'm sure Amtrak is probably already west of Mount Pleasant. They were running about 30 minutes late. Last estimation that I saw was they were going to be here in Ottumwa at about 7:11. So expected to make up a lot of time. Whether they really will or not is up for interpretation, so we'll see what happens. So we're just going to go down and just check out the situation, see if there's anything else coming, and if not, we'll go ahead and head on down to the station and get ready for Amtrak. So last week I did a special live stream on Amtrak's Illinois Zephyr. I was in Chicago for a few hours during the week last week, and then my wife and I actually went back to Chicago last weekend to see a ball game. We went and saw the Chicago Cubs get beat by the Cincinnati Reds. Still a fun game though, still a fun experience to go to Wrigley Field. So I was on vacation last week, so that's now I'm back in town and back to the normal day-to-day stuff. So can I squeeze through here? Probably not. Not even going to attempt it. A lot of people do. I'm not going to be one of those people. Got a question from Jacob. He's asking if I'm going to see CP 2816 this summer. Absolutely. I'm really excited about that. Don't know, there's no schedule yet for the engine to come through here, and it's not quite finished yet, but CPKC is planning on running it from Canada all the way to Mexico. And of course, the only way to get to Mexico on the CPKC from Canada is their line through Ottumwa. So the engine will be coming through Ottumwa, most assuredly. It'll be the first steam engine to come through Ottumwa in almost 20 years. So that'll be really exciting. But yes, they just recently announced that they are going to be hopefully running that steam engine to Mexico this summer. They're not specific yet on just when this summer, but I do expect it to happen. So something really huge to look forward to in the months ahead. And I probably will not live stream that. I'll probably go out with my real camera and take video of that and then post it later. But really looking forward to that. So right ahead, we got off the highway and we're coming down here towards the station. We're gonna make a quick run down to Gateway Drive and go down, make a loop down there, and then we'll come back to Depot. Now, there has been a chance of rain this evening, but I don't know if we'll actually get anything. The weather patterns the past couple of days have been really weird. The storms and the rain has been moving east to west instead of west to east. I'm sure it's some sort of pressure system that's causing them to do that, but it's really strange to look at the radar and look for upcoming storms and to see them moving east to west. It's really weird. I do believe that there is a hurricane down in the east, in the Atlantic Ocean, down in the Gulf of Mexico, somewhere in there. I don't know if that approaching is starting to cause the weather to already change. I don't know. Hurricane hasn't hit landfall yet, so I wouldn't think that it would have much to do with it, but I don't know. So we're going down here. We're on Gateway Drive now. We're going to loop back down towards McLean Street, probably go through, turn on McLean Street, and then go back to the station. Amtrak will not be very far away. And, but again, I don't know how much else is out there tonight. We might just get Amtrak, but we'll see. There's been a chance of rain, but it hasn't rained yet. I'd like to keep it that way, but I am prepared. I came prepared. Brought my coat, the umbrella, so we're ready if it does rain. This is McLean Street. And looking down at the signals, we do have a clear signal for westbound movements. Most likely that is for Amtrak. Nothing else. So we're going to go ahead and head back to the station. Now up here on the right is Main Street Donuts, a very popular donut shop here in town. The owner of Main Street Donuts is not only a man, but a former railroad employee. And he has rail cars behind Main Street Donuts. An old Union Pacific work car and a couple of cabooses. And he actually just got a couple of the cars up on their trucks on a little section of track behind Main Street Donuts, which is right in front of the BNSF Ottumwa subdivision. I talked to him years ago, and he kind of pitched the idea of maybe opening some kind of a like rail fan motel or something. I don't know if he's still planning on doing something like that or not, but that'd be kind of interesting to have that right next to an active rail line. That'd be a pretty neat place for rail fans to come in and spend the night right next to the railroad. Okay, Jacob's asking, the last steamer to come through Ottumwa. That was, and I really wish that I had known about this so I could have seen it, but it was Milwaukee Road 261. Back in 2005, it came down what was then the Iowa, Chicago, and Eastern. So it's the same line that the Royal Hudson will be coming down this summer. But back then, it was part of the Iowa, Chicago, and Eastern. Let's see. Where can I park? That's some great parking there. Good grief. We'll park here. All right, so Amtrak is on its way. We're going to go ahead and get ready to get out and get set up. So we are at the Ottumwa station. Our train that's going to be arriving first is Amtrak. I have a fully charged battery on my phone, so we should be good to get all the action surrounding Amtrak before we come back. Go ahead and get the tripod out here and get it set up, and we'll head out. All right, off we go. All right. Now, the RAV doesn't like it when I hit the lock button. All right, here we go. Alrighty, so here we are at the Ottumwa station. Amtrak is on its way soon. The conductor is already down to the end of the platform, getting ready. Now after Amtrak, we'll probably go ahead and go back down and see the progress they're doing on the platform. There's a little more progress. Pretty nice night, actually. And the water plant down there. All right, we're gonna go ahead and raise the tripod up a little bit here. Try and do it as gingerly as possible so we don't cause the camera to wobble too much. Hey.
You come down here and take a picture of the Amtrak train, I'm guessing?
Yep.
That, you got a new engine on here or something, or what's going on?
No, it's just a normal train, I think.
Must be taking a V or something.
Yep.
I got the scanner thing scanning. I got a home, like I got a home too. Gate's going down. Going down.
Yeah, we got Amtrak's California Zephyr is arriving now. So we got down here just in time. And the train has arrived. 7:07. Amtrak's California Zephyr here in Ottumwa. Now they pulled the train up far enough so they don't have to do a double stop. All right, off we go. Ottumwa Depot. Dining car is what stopped right next to us. Now, one thing you may have noticed on the train tonight, they have 2 sleeper cars again, along with the transition sleeper. The Zephyr just got a second sleeper back. So all they need now is one more coach and they'll be back to a normal consist. But it's nice to have another sleeper on the train. That means they're getting enough sleeper traffic, which is the high-paying traffic. So it's nice to have another car on this train. There's the baggage car, Viewliner 2. And the door is kind of ajar right there. And our engines. Engineers having a conversation down there. Locomotives are 83 is the second unit, and 40 is the leader. I'll go ahead and let the engineers do their thing here before we head down. Since they pulled the train up, so they don't have to make 2 stops, the engines are past the platform. And to avoid walking in the weeds, I'm going to walk down there, but crossing gates down at Clay Street are malfunctioning. All right, we're gonna go ahead and head up here once the engineers get by. All right, good. All right, here we go. Up past the engines. Okie dokie, it's a pretty good scene right here. All right, they just sounded the warning whistle, so everyone who stepped off the train for their fresh air stop, or whoever's getting on or getting off, to clear the platform. We're ready to go. Conductors are walking up the platform, making sure it's clear. And we'll be going here momentarily.
Conductor Amtrak. You have a copy of track 1 authority 730-38, over. I do not. Alright, whenever you're ready, I'll give it to you here, over. Shoot. Okay, we got track 1 authority number 730-3838, issued Amtrak, ABD 4040 West WSC. Track item 2, GTB over from CTT, CP control point 2502, 2502. To the westbound control signal ICV railroad crossing. Double RX on main 101 track. One item checked item 2. Located 1654 1654. Dispatcher Juliet Papa Hotel, over. 730-38, proceed from 2502 to westbound control signal, ICD RRX, main 1, 1654, Juliet Papa Hotel. That is correct. And I think I got everything loaded up here. Roger that. Todd, you all locked up back there? Amtrak 5AC, you all locked up back there, Todd? Yeah, I just told you that. Oh, well, we can highball. All right, highball, Amtrak 5.
And off they go.
Did we manage to do the same thing we did this morning? Matter of fact, we did. 080. Roger.
Alrighty, safe travels, Zephyr. Next stop is Osceola, about an hour west of here. And off they go. Well, Brian's asking if I've seen any other trains in the last 30 minutes. Nope, this is the first one. And we'll be out for another half hour or so. We'll see if there's anything else in the area. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and walk back up the platform and
clear at the CP, over. Clear.
show you what's going on down at the depot and the platform work. So I'm using my tripod, my actual tripod, to film this. But as you might have noticed, it's picking up a lot of the vibrations from the trains going by, and I honestly don't know if it's any better than my small tripod in reality. I mean, it's nice to be able to pan the camera back and forth, but okay, we're gonna go ahead and lower this down real quick, and then we'll head back up the platform. And hopefully, we'll see something else in the meantime. So we just saw Amtrak's westbound California Zephyr leaving town. And hopefully we'll see something else in the next 30 minutes. For now, let's go ahead and walk back up the platform. Everything's quiet down here now. Now, it's a lot nicer around here than it was the first time I came down here in late March, I think it was. It was pretty chilly down here. Now it's in the mid-80s. Okay, Ryan's asking if they are going to fix the canopies on the platform. Yes, they're actually in the process of doing it right now. We're going to check out some of that down here on the far east end of the northern platform here along Main 1. So we get back up onto the platform.
Factor Amtrak, class 8 and 18 has come over. 8 and 18, over. That is correct, and I got some real estate for you here if you're interested, over. I'm always interested in a bit of real estate. I have 730-38 display. Well, I tell you what, with the low price of free, I'll give you direct warrant authority number 730, 730-38, engineer Gunderbig, conductor Walker, line 2, main number 1, CTT keeping control point 2502, westbound control signal ICD railroad crossing. We'll show these limits cleared at 1923, 1923, over. Sounds like a great offer. Understand I have Amtrak 40 West, reporting clear Amtrak warrant 730-38 between CTC 2502 and westbound control signal IC rail crossing time 1923, 1923, is that over? Yeah, 1923, Amtrak 40 West, over. Correct, that's a good rest of your trip, over. Thanks a lot. You have a good evening as well. Thank you.
All right, now one of my previous comments here said that, let's see, Iowa trains, there's a westbound freight and a coal train that have passed the Mount Pleasant camera. Okay, so whether they'll be by in the next 30 minutes or so is debatable, but we'll see. Okay, another question here. The station is owned by the city. The city actually just bought the station. And their plans are to turn it into a multimodal train and bus terminal. And obviously that probably will not be utilizing the top of the station where the museum used to be. It used to be owned by the museum, the Wapello County Historical Society. They moved out north and sold the building to the city. And so the city's working on that right now. Now the platforms, from my understanding, are actually owned by BNSF. And so BNSF and Amtrak, and I don't know if there's any city money involved too. There might be. They're all working together to do these revitalizations to the platforms themselves. Pretty exciting. Within the next year and a half or so, they'll probably be done. It sounds like a long time, but believe it or not, they've already been working on this project for well over half a year. And of course, in the wintertime, they can't really get a whole lot done with the cold weather and the snow and everything, so they're just now really starting to ramp up on their progress. But about, I like to say about 20-25% of the new platform has been completed. And that's just on the northern platform here along Main 1. Now where they're going to go after that, I don't know. They might go ahead and finish this side, or they might go ahead and start the other side. We'll just have to see what happens. Yes, the station is owned by the city now, and platforms are owned by, I'm pretty sure they're owned by the railroad. But yes, the plan is, which we can already see coming to fruition up ahead, they are taking down the canopies. They are taking them off-site to be sandblasted and repaired. Then when they're done with the platforms, they're going to bring the canopies back, put them back up, and put a new roof on them, repaint them. It's going to be really nice. We'll go ahead and cross the tracks here. They've already done, actually we can, yeah. They've done quite a bit of work down here. We can kind of see what they're doing. The last time we were here, they had the basic platform that we see here up. No, Kirk, no chatter on the CPKC yet. And train 260 came through a few hours ago, so I don't know if there's anything else past that or not. Yes, the last time we were here, they just had the basic platform up that is that we can see right now. And eventually they're going to get it connected with the, well, they're going to take the old platform out and the new one's going to keep going all the way down. But as you can see, this new platform is much more sophisticated, I suppose you'd want to say, than the old platform. It's actually kind of floating. It's sitting up on these beams, so track workers can get underneath the tracks a little better. As you can see, the old platform is just kind of butted right up to the edge of the roadbed. So it's a little more difficult to do track work when you've got a platform kind of constraining you like that. With this type of platform, you can get way underneath and do more work easier. Like whenever they run the, there's a work vehicle called the undercutter, which comes through and it literally raises the tracks up and takes the old roadbed out, cleans it, and then lays it back down. I've actually seen that work machine in operation before. Not on this line, but another BNSF line, and it is really interesting to watch. So if something like that were to come through here, it's going to be a lot easier to do that type of work with the new platforms than it was with the old ones. So basically what we see here now is what they had done last time. However, if you look over here, you can see that some of the canopies have started to return to the site. And they have definitely been sandblasted or cleaned in some way. We can compare them to the canopies that are still up here right now. You can hear the killdeer birds in the background raising a fuss. Must be getting close to one of their nests. But they're the new, well, they're not new, but they've been recently refurbished canopies, the stands for the canopies, the bases for them. And if we look over here at the existing ones, you can see how they've rusted and the paint's all peeled off. And these, they're all pretty much kind of a rust brown color, and that's because I'm pretty sure they have been sandblasted and cleaned off. They probably won't be painted until they get them set back up for obvious reasons. Got to make sure they get them up and get them in place, make sure everything fits, and then they'll probably be repainted. Now the next thing they have done to the platform, which we can see down here, is they're starting to add that no slip edge that you see on a lot of the modern platforms. Like a lot of the light rail and city trains have platforms like this. And you might notice on certain crosswalks with streets and stuff, you see these little no slip edges. And what's really cool, and I've just now noticed it down here, is that it's going to be painted yellow. They've already got it masked off for paint, and you probably couldn't see it when Amtrak was coming in. But this, the covers that they have on this for the paint work was really flapping when Amtrak was coming in. But yes, on down here we can see that they are indeed painting it yellow. So that will, in a sense, be the new stripe to stay behind. Instead of the yellow stripe, it'll be the yellow paved, whatever you call them. I'm not sure what the technical name is for that, but a little no-slip barrier. That is being painted yellow. So they have done quite a bit of work down here since we were last down here to film. And you can compare that to the old platform, which is, this old platform, it has been resurfaced. The last time it was resurfaced was in 2007. And that's when they added the center stripes. And as far as I know, nothing has been done to it since. And, you know, you can really see how almost 16 years of just normal wear can really affect the platform. So there might be some more trains. Hopefully we'll see here. Do have word that there is another train on the way. If it has cleared Mount Pleasant, we might end up getting it. We'll see. So we might just stick tight. I think my battery will last for that long. So we'll just go ahead and get set up down here and see if anything else were to come along. It's actually turning out to be a pretty nice evening. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. We just got Amtrak a few minutes ago, and we're waiting on a potential westbound movements. We'll go ahead and set up the tripod right over here and wait for one. Apologize for the wobble. Get everything set up here. Usually when I have my actual camera, I can get this tripod up in less than 30 seconds. But of course, you never actually see the setup or takedown of the tripod when I'm using my actual camera. Okay, level her out here. There we go. And eventually I'll probably end up getting a new iPhone that has a little better stability control, so there won't be a whole lot of that vibration and wobbling in the videos. But for now, I still think it's pretty amazing that you can literally live stream from your phone all over the world. It's amazing how technology has really advanced in just the past few years, and a lot of people are doing this now. There's a guy down in La Plata, which there's a La Plata rail cam down there, but there's a guy that not only is doing live streams, but he's doing live streams with a drone over La Plata as trains go through live. So if you ever see that on YouTube, check it out. It's pretty awesome what that guy's doing. I don't know what type of equipment he has, but that is just really, really neat to be able to live stream from a drone. Guess is he's doing some sort of link to his phone. Obviously, he's not live streaming from the drone itself. The drone is projecting the video down to his phone, and he's somehow able to switch from one camera to the other. Which, as the years go by and I keep doing this, I might see about doing some of that stuff myself. I do not have a drone yet. I've contemplated getting one for years, but they're pretty expensive. The good ones are really expensive. And you definitely would have to do several test runs of a drone before you actually go about filming with them, because you have to make sure you don't fly into something or have it go too far out of range and you can't get it back down and stuff like that. But some of those drones have a pretty good range on them. You can get really high up in the air. But of course, you have to make sure you're not flying over like a no-fly zone or something, and make sure that you do have to have a license from the FAA, I'm pretty sure, to fly them. I've contemplated getting one, but another part of me thinks that it's kind of cheating in a way, like to get a good video. I mean, just get up high and get one. Oh, we got a freight train. I mean, some parts of me thinks that drones are kind of makes you lazy in videography, but another part of me thinks that you're able to get stuff you can't get on the ground. So I might end up getting one in the future. We'll see. But regardless, we got a freight train approaching now, folks. A westbound BNSF freight. All right, that was a pretty nice train. Now, judging by the length of that train, that was probably the manifest GALLIN, Galesburg, Illinois to Lincoln, Nebraska, mixed freight. Now, I really apologize for the wobbly or the vibrations that this phone picks up. When you're filming right on the platform, you need a pretty decent stabilization, which my real video camera has, but this does not. But I think some of the newer phones have better stability, so. So I apologize for that, but there's not really anything I can do about it. But still got a good picture regardless. The westbound BNSF freight train, GALLIN, came through about 30 minutes after Amtrak. And we've got time. If there is another train, we might end up seeing it. We'll see. We'll see if it comes through in the next 20 minutes or so. It has turned out to be a really nice evening down here in Ottumwa. So we have seen 2 trains so far. 2 trains, a westbound mixed freight that we just saw, and before that was Amtrak's westbound California Zephyr. So we haven't seen the eastbound trains yet. Haven't really heard any word about any eastbounds yet either. Sometimes you can hear on the radio the Creston dispatcher, which they control, even though this isn't the Creston subdivision, the Creston dispatcher dispatches the railroad, the Ottumwa subdivision, west of, I think, Halpin. From Halpin west. And so eastbound trains, they clear up their warrants after going through Halpin, which is just west of Albia. And sometimes you can hear that in Ottumwa. And when they clear up at Halpin, it's a good 45 minutes to an hour before they get here. Freight trains. Now Amtrak, it'd be less than 30 minutes.
BNSF 8175 West, 730-39 flight order. BNSF 8175 West, reported clear on track warrant 730-39 from CTC CP 2502, westbound control signal, IC&E railroad crossing on 1 at 1944, 1944. BNSF 8175 West, reporting clear on track warrant 730-39 between CTC CP 1202 and westbound control signal, IC rail crossing time 1944, 1944. Is that all correct? Correct. All correct. BNSF 8175.
So as we're standing right here waiting for our next train, we'll just go ahead and... Okay, let's listen here for a moment.
8491, I'm still learning this stuff. So for the CLO facility, I'm seeing there's 2 tracks that head in that direction at 2888. Usually I bring a train up main 1 Maxon and into the first lead. Am I able to bring you on main 2 to 2888 and bring you on to the crossover? Will that still go to where you need to go over?
He's talking to an eastbound, I think, but I think it's still a ways out. 2888 that they're talking about is 8 miles west of here.
Okay, so they're both going to ISU, but using the crossover in 2888 takes a little longer because there's a hand throw switch on the second entrance. Is that correct? Gotcha. Okay. So I've got an H-Gal coming along main 1. Once he gets past Maxon, I can bring you up main 1 Maxon and bring you in the entrance that way at 2888. Or sounds good, thank you. You just talk to me.
Okay. That might be our last train. I'm not sure, but the way he's talking, it sounds like they're bringing a eastbound, crossing it over to main 1, which is the track on our right. And bringing it into, I couldn't tell what the dispatcher was talking about. The only industry in between 2888 and here is the Chillicothe power plant. So it's possible that one of the coal trains is going in there, but I'm not sure. The engine he was addressing was an 8400, which is an SD70 ACE, which could very well be a coal train. So it just depends. I mean, they will either that is our last train, or there is another coal train. There's a coal train coming, and he might go ahead and bring it through and stop them at 2888 and let that other train cross over and get into the power plant, if that's what they're doing. But, as they say, stay tuned. And we've got about 20 more minutes before we end for the night. We've already seen 2 trains in a pretty quick amount of time, actually. There have been some live streams that I've gone an hour and a half and I only get 2 trains. We haven't even been on an hour, so it is possible that you might get one more. The signals are still lit down at the IC&E crossing. BNSF still refers to it as the IC&E RRX, even though, of course, it's CPKC now. And it has been CP for the past 15 years until recently, when they acquired Kansas City Southern and became Canadian Pacific Kansas City. Their junction with this line is, well, probably about less than a mile west of here. So if that's what's happening, it is possible we might get to see that coal train that was referenced earlier. You know, I actually just noticed that there's actually timestamps on these comments, so I can go back and see what Iowa Trains said. Okay, 7:22. Westbound freight and coal train have passed the Mount Pleasant camera. So 7:22, and that train just passed us. give or take 10 minutes ago. So clearly both of those trains were well along when he posted that comment. So we might end up seeing that coal train if they're not too far apart, if they let it come through. I can't see what the signal says for main one right now. Let's see if maybe I can get a visual on it here real quick. Looks like it is still red, but of course that previous train just went through, so it's going to take a little while for the signal to bump back up. Nice night down here at the station. And I was worried that it was going to rain, and it actually looked like it was going to, but then clouds just kind of rolled away. So here's where we are right now. The dispatcher just was talking to an eastbound train, which is, okay. Iowa Trains just commented the coal train that he mentioned went through Mount Pleasant exactly 1 hour ago. Okay, so it takes roughly an hour, if there isn't any other traffic, interfering. It takes about an hour for a freight train to go from Mount Pleasant to here. So if the signal bumps up to a less restricting indication than stop, obviously, the train is able to get through Ottumwa, we will probably be able to see that coal train before the end of our stream for tonight. And I'm gonna try and get off of the platform and get off a little ways so there's not as much vibration in the video. It's not that bad, but it's a little distracting, for me anyway. As a videographer, it bothers me. But there's nothing that can be done about it with filming with this particular phone. It has pretty decent steadying features, like if you're hand holding the phone. But obviously it's not near as good as the steady shot like you have on the Sony cameras, which are the ones that I have. Okay, we're gonna answer this question. Thunderbolt 1000 AT Siren Productions. Do you film any tornado storm sirens? I haven't, but it's pretty fascinating. There's a whole group of people, of enthusiasts, that film not just sirens, but also the automated storm announcements that the NOAA Weather Radio puts out, and storm chasers. There are whole YouTube channels of people that do nothing but film storms and drive into storms. And just like anything else, it's really fascinating, all the different hobbies that people have. And storm chasing is a very fascinating one. I'm not sure I would have the courage to do it, but it's important. Now, while I'm here babbling, here comes our train. And obviously it's so close now. Yeah, get off the tracks. That red car about got stuck on the tracks and had to back away. Here's our westbound train. We'll just have to deal with the vibration. Now, as this train goes through, you can kind of see what I was talking about earlier when Amtrak came in. Well, the tarp that they have down there is really blowing as the trains go through. And there we have it. Westbound coal train, clear of the Ottumwa station. We were able to see it. Cool. 3 trains. 3 trains for our live stream this evening. The bad thing about the quiet zone going into effect here in Ottumwa is if you're not, that's why you really have to be aware of your surroundings. And I was. I mean, I could hear the crossing gates, and I was definitely far enough back from the platform in the event of it coming up behind me. But you do not hear the trains until you hear those crossing gates coming down. I had no idea it was coming because I wasn't looking that way. So you just really have to be careful when you're on the platforms, looking behind you, looking in front of you. I mean, just being well aware of your surroundings as the trains come in, because in a quiet zone town, you might not hear them. So back to the conversation of storm sirens, really briefly here. It's interesting stuff. I haven't filmed any intentionally, I guess. There was one time I was out here a few years ago when a severe storm came through and the sirens were going off. I don't know if I actually got it on video or not. I don't think I did, but the sirens were going off and I was out here and I managed to get down underneath the highway overpass, kind of where we were when we saw Amtrak leave earlier, as the rain came just pouring down. Yes, that was an empty coal train going back to the Powder River Basin. But yeah, it's a very interesting hobby. Storms, sirens, weather alerts. Very fascinating stuff. So with that, we're gonna head on back towards the car now and get ready to wrap things up for tonight. Been a pretty productive hour and 7 minutes. Saw 3 trains, all on BNSF, Amtrak's California Zephyr, BNSF mixed freight GALLIN, and a BNSF coal train. We'll keep things running here until we get to the car. Lower the tripod down here. And the reason that the camera wobbles so much from the vibrations of trains going through, the wheels have, yep, that's exactly what they were doing. What I was talking about, my theory of the eastbound going into the power plant, that's exactly what's going on. That westbound that we just saw go through, they're going to stop short of control point 2888 and let that train get into the power plant, and then they're going to keep on going. So, but obviously, whoops, with 8 miles between here and there, that train has plenty of room to clear Ottumwa and come to a stop before reaching the power plant. Really excited to see the final result of the platform work here in Ottumwa. But again, it's going to take another probably 1.5 years before they get it all done. But it's nice to see the progress. And it's really nice to see those canopy legs coming back and ready to be painted, ready to be put back up. Now, if you notice, they're a little shorter than they used to be. And that's because they're going to go up on these little concrete bases. The old ones are platform level, and over time, when they treat the platforms for snow and stuff, it gets all rusted out and pretty bad. So they're going to put them up on those concrete supports, so they're not susceptible to that stuff anymore. But to do that, they have to chop them down a little bit. They're going to be the same height most likely, but shorter at the bottom to compensate for those supports. And you may have noticed when we were down there, they also built a new sidewalk down there going back up to the platform. Might get a picture of that next time we're down here. All right. Station's pretty quiet now. Gonna be locking things up here pretty soon at 8:30. As we wrap things up tonight, we'll answer a few more questions really briefly, and I'll give you an update on my videos that I'm working on right now, my full-length videos. Okay. All right, so we're still at the Ottumwa Depot. We're going to go ahead and get rolling now. Here in a couple of minutes, we'll go ahead and answer a few more questions here as we're sitting here. Now, no more trains on the BNSF or CPKC right now. So, yeah, Washington, Iowa, north of here, got a little rain shower earlier. And yes, on that coal train, we had an SD70 Mac trailing. It's nice to see those engines. They're becoming fewer and far between. Empty coal train at Mount Pleasant 5 minutes ago. Well, that's going to be past our allotted time that we have here tonight. But okay, so we're asking about the full-length videos that are coming up soon. So we'll go ahead and adjust the camera here a little bit as we get rolling. Drive through Ottumwa as we discuss these videos. So the video that I recently posted was from last week when I rode the Illinois Zephyr into Chicago, and I'm actually gathering some video for a couple of projects in the future, which I haven't really determined when I'm going to release those yet. So, but I am working on some Chicago-related videos that hopefully will be showing up in the future sometime. You know, I don't know when that will be, but it will be coming sometime in the future. And the most recent full-length video that I put up was the Trains at Old Threshers 2022. I know I'm a little late getting that one up, but actually I'm earlier this time than I was getting the 2021 video released. I didn't release it until July of last year, literally a couple months before the 2022 reunion happened. So I'm better this year than I was last year, so. And that's the most recent full-length video that I have posted. Now the next one that I've been talking about for the past couple of months here on the live streams is a Union Pacific video. I'm going to compile a long video. It's probably going to be a very long video, probably an hour and 15 minutes, maybe even an hour and a half. It's going to be all of the footage that I got of Union Pacific's Big Boy, number 4014, when it came through Iowa in 2019. I just haven't gotten around to doing anything with that video yet until now. So I'm working on it right now. It's going to be a compilation of all the shots that I got of the Big Boy, as well as a number of different Union Pacific freight trains that I've gotten in the past almost 10 years. I don't get up to the Union Pacific very much, but so I really haven't done any video, really haven't done anything with the video that I've taken up there over the past 10 years. So it's not a whole lot, but it's enough to make a really decent video. So that's what I'm working on right now. And it's pretty much a summary of a lot of the action that you see across the entire state of Iowa. I mean, we go as far west as Denison, and we go as far east as Clinton. So as you can see, that covers a lot of area on the Union Pacific's overland route through Iowa. So that is my next video project. It's going to be called Union Pacific in Iowa, Big Boy Excursions and Mainline Freight Trains. That is the working title of that video, and that is going to be the next video that I work on. I'm actually working on editing some screenshots from the video when I do my cover art for that video. And after that, I'll probably work on the narration and then start doing some map work and editing. So that is the next video I'm working on, and it's nice getting the Old Threshers video out of the way. I mean, it's one of my favorite videos, but it also kind of bogs me down sometimes and kind of keeps me from actually progressing. So I'm glad I got that video done, so it's kind of like a clean slate and actually start on getting some of these other videos out of the way. And after that, the next video I'm going to work on after the Union Pacific video is done is a video of the Iowa Interstate. The Iowa Interstate's QJs were operating in 2021 and a little bit in 2022. And I got video of some of those QJ escapades through Iowa, eastern Iowa. And then later on in 2021, when the QJ was run town and stuff, which that's pretty neat. And then, of course, last November, I also got a lot of video of Union Pacific's donation special, which they shuttled across the Iowa Interstate, the Challenger, the Centennial, and 5511 being donated to the group in Silvis, that Friends of 261. I got a lot of video of that move from pretty much from the South Amana Yard all the way to the Quad Cities, crossing the Mississippi River. So I'm going to combine that footage with the QJs, the Iowa Interstate, and it's going to be across the Iowa Interstate 3. And that will be the next video that I'm going to release after the Union Pacific video. Most likely after that, of course, that's all of my tentative schedule that I put up for now. But in my mind, most likely those are the only videos I'm going to be able to work on before this year's Old Threshers. So after that, most likely will be the next Old Threshers video. I'm going to work on it right after Old Threshers this year, for once. And hopefully get it out a little sooner than I have the past couple of years. So, but that's tentative. I mean, the only schedule that I have right now are those two videos, Union Pacific and then the Iowa Interstate. After that, it's kind of up in the air. We'll see what happens with time. And we're just kind of driving around right now while I finish my talk here on my next videos. But anyways, those are the next two big videos out. And of course, I'm going to be doing live streams. I've kind of gotten in the habit of doing one of these once a week. We're going to keep that up all through summer and see how things go. Tonight was a pretty good night on the railroad. We got to see 3 trains in pretty quick succession. There was very little downtime once things got going. So it was a pretty good stream, good weather, and good trains. Each train we saw was different. Got to see Amtrak, BNSF mixed freight, and a BNSF coal train. So pretty good night. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up for the night. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you missed anything, it's going to be an archive once it finishes rendering. And I'll probably post a link to that in the community tab on my channel when it gets done. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. I'll let you know when my next stream will be and all my other videos when I get them done. And we're going to go ahead and leave it there. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. And we'll see you next time here on live train watching in Ottumwa and the surrounding area. This is Bobby Harvey. We'll see you next time. So long, everyone.